Hi, I'm Amber Meikle. I'm Senior Press Officer at Care International. I've just come back from Ethiopia, where I've been meeting with the people who've been benefiting from our projects at helping them to grow more food, and also our emergency work, helping them to recover from the current food shortages there. So my trip to Ethiopia was going to meet with the people we're working with in Ethiopia who are facing these problems at the moment, and to really go and collect their stories and bring them back to the UK and to the other northern countries where Care works, to tell their stories and help us to raise money to plough back into helping them at this time of emergency. The problem in Ethiopia at the moment is it doesn't look how people think a food emergency should look. There has been rain, it's green, it's lush, it smells great, it looks beautiful, but the rain came too late and the crops that are growing in the field are not going to be ready in time to harvest. So actually it doesn't look like a food crisis, but really underneath all that there's massive problems, and pretty much no houses have got any food stocks left in them at all. I went over to the east of Ethiopia to a place called East Haragi, up in the highlands. It's a very densely populated region with lots of people who rely very much on farming to grow food to feed their families. This year, unfortunately, with the rains failing, their crops have failed, and this means they've got very few food stocks in the house, but also the global food price rises that affected all of us, not only in the UK but also in Ethiopia, have hit really hard there. They're some of the poorest people in the world, and that means that when food prices triple in a year, there's just no way that they can afford even the most basic items. I visited a therapeutic feeding centre, which is a centre really where the most malnourished children go and are admitted for 10 days for intensive feeding. And I was speaking with the mothers of some of the children there. One of them, a child called Nibele, was nearly comatose when she was admitted about 10 days prior to my arrival. Her mother, broke down as she spoke to me. I was asking her why it was that she'd ended up here with her child, and she said to me, "There is nothing else I can do. I earn more money, but it's never enough to buy the food that I need to feed her. What else can I do?" And it's really heartbreaking to see people who are just so poor they're at a point where they've run out of options. In 2006, Care called for a complete overhaul of the international aid system's approach to emergencies in Africa. Most food emergencies in Africa are preventable. We know when they're coming, we know how to prevent them. But the system's set up wrong and the funds come too late, so we end up saving lives but not actually making people's lives better. And the millions of people across Africa and increasingly the world who are living on the edge of emergency are really trapped in a cycle that they just can't break free of, and we need an overhaul of the entire aid system to help pull them back from the edge of emergency and start to build a new life for themselves. Not enough has changed, so now today we're faced with another 100 million people living on the edge of emergency and not able to feed their families. If you can help us to help them, log on to careinternational.org.uk.